Namaste. A warm welcome to everybody. On behalf of Chairperson Ms. Shubhra Maheshwari and her committee, I, Gunjan Sandhi, Honorary Secretary FICCI Flow, would like to extend a warm welcome to our guests, the pride of India, Ms. Mithali Raj, and the very versatile actress, Ms. Taapsee Pannu, our revered past chairs, and our distinguished members. I'll need a minute for the national anthem. Okay. We would now request everybody to stand for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय
I request our illustrious guest speakers, Ms. Mithali Raj and Ms. Taapsee Pannu, past chair Ms. Lata Reddy, Ms. Rekha Lahoti, Ms. Kamini Saraf, Ms. Sonali Saraf, Ms. Maurya Border, to please step forward for lighting of the lamp. And Mr. Muralidhar, please, to keep changing things at Flow, we have decided that going forward, we would have some of the members join for lighting of the lamp. Please do come regularly, so people who attend regularly will get this opportunity to come and join us for the lighting of the lamp. Looking forward for all of you to participate with us regularly. I would now request Core Committee, Executive Committee, Flow by Flow, to step forward for a picture. Guests, Ms. Mithali Raj, Ms. Taapsee Pannu, and Chairperson Ms. Shubhra Maheshwari to grace the dais, please. I now request Ms. Shubhra Maheshwari to felicitate the speakers with the Flow Memento. Events team, mementos, please. Requesting Chairperson Shubhra Maheshwari to address this August gathering.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's about who's going to stop me. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the spirit of sports. Sport has the power to change lives. the ability to drive gender equality by teaching women and girls teamwork, self-reliance, resilience, and confidence. Sports are about those incredible moments where sheer human will and desire overcomes the odds. These are the moments we remember. Women in sport defy gender stereotypes and social norms, making inspiring role models and show men and women as equals. Today, we are delighted to have two such incredible role models, Miss Tapsi Pannu and Miss Padma Shri awardee Mithali Raj, who have shattered glass ceilings in the two most popular and celebrated industries, Bollywood and cricket. Ms. Tapsi Pannu has paved a unique and impressive path for herself in the industry and has chosen out-of-the-box scripts to bring forth women issues and depicting strong women who can serve as role models to all the rest. Padma Shri, Ms. Mithali Raj, of course, needs no introduction. At a time when cricket was only considered a gentleman's game, Mithali has put cricket on the world map. Her name is taken with the same respect in women's cricket as the men. She is a legend and an inspiration to women and girls in India and the world. It is important to have such stories of inspiration to be told, as they serve to motivate people, especially young girls, choose a path beyond the traditional or conventional gender roles. Sports teach children to recognize and distinguish between winning and striving for excellence. The latter is harder to achieve comparatively. Sports help them handle failure in the best way possible and then try to get up once again to achieve their goals. That's why a child needs to participate in sports to empower themselves in life and become a better human being. Our esteemed speakers here are here to talk about sports and the power of projection, the power of films, both of which reach every corner of India. Before I proceed, I would like to make a few announcements. Through the Financial Literacy Initiative at the National, we have officially signed an MOU with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It's a pan-India tie-up which will help women across all stratas of society to learn to achieve financial independence. We conducted our first session very recently, a workshop for girls and boys of DDU GKY in association with McLean Skill Academy. Around 100 students were educated on the concepts of financial planning, budgeting, and basics of investing. Subscription renewal. To make the most of the best of the year, insightful programs and initiatives of Flow and YFlow, I urge all of you to renew your subscriptions for the year. I'm little disheartened when I say this. 2 chapters in the country have completed their entire subscription renewal. Hyderabad has always been at the lead in all activities pan-India, but this time, unfortunately, I couldn't raise my hand at National and say that, oh, our subscription renewals are completed. So pitch in, motivate your friends to finish the subscription renewals. It's not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It's the will to prepare for the win that matters. Today, do what others won't, so tomorrow you can accomplish what others can't. She is us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhra, for your insightful address. Now I would request Shruti Malpani, Government Interface Head, to introduce our revered guest, Ms. Mithali Raj, and Mahati Valamati, Women's Skilling Support Head, to introduce Ms. Tapsi Pannu.
Mithali Raj, the first Indian captain to lead the country to 2 World Cup finals. Her name is etched in cricket world forever, thanks to her sheer competency and consistency. She almost single-handedly made India wake up to the achievements of its women's cricket team. In a career spanning 23 years, Mithali Raj represented India 333 times across all formats, scored a world record 10,868 runs. Raj's international test debut broke the record to become the world's highest individual test scorer at the age of 19. But the legacy she leaves behind goes well beyond mere numbers. A Padma Shri awardee, she is the recipient of several national and international awards. She is the first woman to make it big in a predominantly gentleman game. She has helped girls across the country nurture a dream and has shown that the dream be big.
Taapsee Pannu is a versatile actor who has been featured in various regional films with some stellar performances. Her most predominant works are from the Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi film industries. She was part of well acclaimed films such as Pink, The Ghazi Attack, Malk, Manmarzia, Adu Kalam, and many more. Apart from playing an active role in the film industry, this multifaceted personality is the founder of The Wedding Factor, a Mumbai based event management company. Being an avid sports lover and a squash player in her formative years, Taapsee is the owner of a badminton franchise called as the Pune 7 Aces in the Premier Badminton League. After working for almost a decade in the film industry, Taapsee launched her own production house called the Outsider Films. In her pursuit to support and promote menstrual hygiene, the actress also joined a menstrual care brand called Laika as its co-founder. Adding to all of the above, Taapsee has undergone training in Kathak and Bharatnatyam and was a disciple of Pandit Birju Maharaj for almost 8 years.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Mahati, for a wonderful introduction to our guests today. I would now request Shubhra Maheshwari to take the session forward.
Taapsee Pannu stands out for her honest and outspoken approach to life and is not one to mince words when it comes to issues close to your heart, right? She completed her software engineering before becoming a model and actress and took up acting to try something new. Apart from acting, she also loves sports and can be seen cheering for her team at the Badminton Premier League, Pune 7 Aces. So how did films happen to a software engineer?
Class family sees for their kids. No risk, let's just have a paycheck at the end of the month safely back home. And that's what I aspired to do. I really genuinely liked studying. Nobody had to force me to do that. So when I completed my engineering, actually midway through that, I wanted to earn some money on my own without really wanting to ask for pocket money from my parents. And that's what made me do a little bit of modeling while I was doing my graduation. And because of that, I guess a lot of people across the country had my pictures, casting directors, modeling coordinators. And when I got a call, I realized that my pictures have traveled across states and reached south as well, because I was doing these brand campaigns for a lot of brands and only print modeling, not really ramp, because I was not really allowed to go out of Delhi to do all this. I was still studying. And when I got this opportunity, I didn't take it up immediately. I wanted to finish my graduation. And I did that. And that's when I thought, okay, now I want to do my MBA. I tried CAT. I scored an 88 percentile in my first attempt, which was not good enough, I thought, to get into a good B school that I aspired to be a part of. So I thought I'll give it a try once again and drop that 1 year. I was placed in Infosys. I did not want to take the job because I wanted to study further. So in that 1 year, while I drop and study for my CAT exam, these offers started coming my way to do these films. And I did my Google search because I had no idea about Southern film industry at that point. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, I had no idea. So I Google searched the names that were offering me films, and these names particularly stood out of all calls that I got. Adukalam and Jumanidadam. The directors, the producers, the actors attached to it were big. So I thought, okay, well, while I'm studying, since I'm used to being jack of all trades, master of none, I will go ahead and try learn something new and then come back and give my MBA exam. So I went and tried it like a vocational, like a summer holiday thing. Didn't know it'll turn into a profession, even like a dozen years later, still into it. So that's how an experiment with my life made me try acting. And when people ask me, when did you decide to be an actor? It's a little weird answer, but the truth is that after my first film released, because that's what told me that this God probably is trying to give you a hint that you're meant to do this instead of what you were planning to. So there onwards, I pursued it seriously, where I thought of learning the craft, learning how to go about dealing with this profession. And yeah, it's been 12 years now.
Mithali, I would ask the same question to you. You know, for as she rightly said, a middle class family, a girl doing engineering, getting into films, it's uncalled for, unheard for. And similar goes your career track, you know, studying in school. And how did cricket happen? Like in your age and time, cricket was not a sport that a girl would immediately get interested into. Like I remember my time, if I would even ask my male my friends in class to let me allow playing cricket with them, they would say, "Tum jao, tum kya kar rahe?" Yeah, get us the balls.
Yeah, so my introduction to the sport was through my dad, and I think the first time I saw anybody play cricket was my brother in a camp which was full of boys, and I was the only girl, and I thought it was only meant for boys because I didn't see any girl playing cricket, so I assumed that for a young kid, what you see is what you sort of tell yourself or believe, and I probably, this is what my dad told me. He said, like watching them play, he said you also wanted to go and play, and I told that cricket is only for boys. I said, Dad, you actually told that. Like even I didn't see any girl play cricket. I didn't know that there was a women's cricket team. So even he probably, out of ignorance, said it was only meant for boys. But my brother's coach, he saw me come every day at 6 o'clock in the morning. So he said, okay, let me throw a few tennis balls at the girl and see, you know, how she plays. Watching my brother play, maybe I probably would have learned few things and impressed the coach enough to him to tell my father that it would be better if he invest his money and energy in his daughter, turning her into a cricketer than his son. So that is how, you know, my father felt we should think about seriously putting her into the sport, and that's how I began my journey.
And the investment has clearly paid off. The father of that age who invested in that daughter has really paid off.
Well, sometimes when people ask me when there was nothing, what made your parents, tell you to, or probably take this decision of turning you into a cricketer. So far, I didn't get an answer. I didn't ask my parents though. But I don't know. It's a brave decision because of the circumstances during those years where there was absolutely no money in the sport, leave alone money, but people didn't even recognize women playing cricket. So it was quite a brave decision by them to put their daughter into sport.
I feel very honored to have two of you together because both the decisions are brave decisions. For a father who's made the daughter do software engineering and then, okay, fine, you go from the Punjabi North Indian family to go to a South Indian film industry. It takes a lot of courage. And what was the fallback? What if it doesn't happen? What if I don't make it big?
I think the answer to your previous question, once you said what the education will be, what help, I think that's the answer to that. My father, yeah, he had sleepless nights after he got to know. For the first few months, I think I only did it for a year, the modeling. But I didn't tell him in the first few months. It was a secret between me and my mother. And when he got to know, a couple of months later, he did have sleepless nights. But he just said, no, she can't do it. No, it's not right. Because the impression of this industry is not really the right impression in the minds of, you know, regular middle class family, because only the negative side of it is glorified and presented so much, and it becomes generic. They don't think that it's to each its own, right? So it's a generic perception. So he had a very, very negative perception. He had sleepless nights also because he never saw me taking part even in a play or a skit or a drama. Yes, I've been trained in Kathak primarily for 8 years. Bharatanatyam I tried only for a year or two and then moved to Kathak. But he never knew that there's something related to acting in me. So it came as a shocker for him when I was modeling. He was scared that I'll stop my education midway. Having secured a seat in an engineering college in Delhi through merit is a a very, very tough thing. And it's very expensive education to become an engineer. So he was very, very scared that midway through my graduation, I'll give up studies and I'll start doing this, and I'm only attracted to the glamour part of it, to the fame part of it, and I'm getting carried away. So, and he never really had this one-on-one upfront discussion with me and talk it out. Let's discuss what is the problem and what I look at it like and what he wants. So he did not do that. He just kept telling my mom, no, she can't do it. Until it came to a point where, and then there was nothing that he could really argue with me for, because I used to secure good marks. I was a first distinction holder in my graduation as well, and I had secured a job in first campus placement company that came to the college. So, and of course I did not score as I expected in my CAT exam, but with that score itself I could get through a college if I really wanted to. So he really didn't have enough points to argue logically with me for why I should not. So I think one fine day when I told him that anyway I have to sit home and study for a year, let me just use this 1 year of my life the way I want to. If it doesn't work, anyway I plan to come back and do my MBA. So it's not something I'm imagining that I'll do for the rest of my life. So just give me that 1 year out of my own life to try and experiment, because I can come back and do MBA at any age. But this opportunity that I'm getting, I probably will not get it again. So let me just try it. There's no harm. I think, thank God, I don't know what side he woke up on that day, that he agreed and let me do it and didn't sulk about it. And strangely, I packed my bags and I left from Delhi and landed in Madurai. And for my first film, because I signed 2 films together. I signed one Telugu, one Tamil together. And Tamil's first schedule was happening first in Madurai. So I landed there with no family member. So it was strange for even the film production to see that there's a new heroine that has come, and that too from Delhi, straight out of her college after giving her final exams, and she doesn't have any mother, sister, aunt, father, anyone with her, because they were used to having a +1 with the actor. And like this one seems quite adventurous, and I think I kind of proved my adventurousness with the work I did after that. But it was, today if I look back at it, I myself don't know what was I thinking that was probably my biggest adventure in life, to decide to suddenly from a very regular life, very sorted out regular life, to take this risk of becoming an actor with no experience in acting whatsoever, even on school college stage, to go to act in a language I've never even heard of before. So it was quite an adventure. I don't know, I think I myself get scared thinking of what I was thinking at that point to do this.
That's lovely, because what I gather here is that for all the children there, yes, education was the comfort net that she had to fall back on, and taking risks is so important.
Yeah, it is. And I know how many ever times I would have failed in terms of my decisions, because everybody has good and bad decision days. So every time I had a bad decision and I had to gather myself up again and walk ahead, the strength that I got, where I got my strength, was that I have a degree, and the fact that I can go back and study again, because nobody forced me to study. I've always liked studying. So it's not like if this profession doesn't work, I'll be on roads. It will never be like that. So I think that strength or confidence my education background gave me, and I think that's why I'm thankful to that pressure of completing graduation that I had on my head because of my father.
True. Mithali, the same question with a different twist. Now, I'm also coming from a background where my children were also pursuing chess at state level, but as a parent, I probably didn't have that much courage of letting go of the traditional education and just pursuing chess. How did you actually broke that mold? What was your early journey? I'm sure there were nights of insecurity and sleeplessness. You don't see the sun anywhere when you begin a sport. How many become Mithali Raj today?
Well, I did. I was there at the crossroads because it was a very important decision in my career. there was 12 boards were there, and the exams were coinciding with the selection games for the World Cup that year. That was my first World Cup in 2000. And in the 11th standard, I stood third in my college in the course that I did, because I got a month's time to prepare. So that probably, gave me the confidence that if I study well and I had time in hand, I can be a good student. I didn't want to let go of my 12 boards, didn't want to fall back a year in a group of friends. So it was looked down on if somebody missed a year in academics. And my dad wanted me to miss those boards and go and play the selection games, because he felt World Cup comes once in 4 years, but the boards you still can give in September. You can manage.
Oh God.
That's to a strong dad behind you.
Yeah, and it took me a week to wrap that thing around my mind, because I was a teenager, and for me at that point education was important. I didn't understand this, but I felt that whatever decision he takes is probably good, because it comes from experience, from his wisdom, and I completely supported that. But what I told myself was, if I'm letting go a year, I would want to make it into the 11, not just to get selected, but just to make it into the 11, so that then I can show that I've actually sacrificed a year to play for India in the World Cup.
Yeah, let's make the sacrifice worth it. Tapsi, as someone who rarely minces her words and is known for speaking her mind, do you think such perceptions about your personality influence the kind of roles you get?
Yeah, I think they do. It also influences the kind of people who want to work with me, because they sometimes the kind of films I do, they require a big leap of faith. And because people know that with me, you get what it is. Like, it's not like you have to mysteriously understand what she might be thinking and what she might be saying. What I say is what you get. It's as clear as that. I think that's not out of anything else but my laziness towards having too many parallel personalities in the same time, because I feel like it's too much of hard work to do drama beyond my job, because I do a lot of it in front of camera. I want to keep it very simple beyond that. So I think sometimes people, they know that जो role कोई और नहीं करेगा, वो ये करेगी. So anything that scares other actresses off, most of the time ends up landing in my lap, because they feel that at least I'll be honest to say that I'll do it or I'll not do it, and my reason of doing it or not doing it is also very upfront. I don't like to make people hang or mince my words in terms of sugarcoat things and tell. And most of the times my honesty is received really well amongst the people who come to me with work. It's only very rarely, which also does happen, but rarely, that people find it too intimidating or difficult, because sometimes they feel that she's too big for her shoes, or she's too difficult because she is demanding too much. All I'm demanding is that you need to tick box my do's and don'ts before I step into a film, because it takes a lot out of an actor. Most of the times what happens is the repercussions of a hit or a flop lands most on the actor. Not just a hit but a flop also. I have seen a time where I was just doing 3 songs and 5 scenes in a film, and because it was a flop, I have almost like 5 back-to-back flops, and I was called the bad luck charm, and all I was doing was like 3 songs and 5 scenes in the film. So I've realized that repercussions of a bad decision does fall on the actors sometimes very majorly. So I want to be very sure of what I'm getting into. So that ways I have to be very honest with the people who I work with. And that does land me some really good films, a very good filmography that I can look back at and be proud of. Yes, it takes a little extra from what conventionally it will from an actor to do a lot of these kind of films. The risk factor is high. But then, as you rightly said in the introduction, if the speech that you gave in the beginning, that if you really want something that nobody has ever has gotten, so then you have to do something nobody has ever done. Yeah.
Mithali, the same for you. You are also known for never mincing your words. You come across as a very strong cricketer who can give it back to the coach also. So, how does this work?
Uh, I think it comes from a position of confidence that you know what you get to the table. And I'm very big on commitment and sincerity towards work. That is, the sport. So if I'm demanding commitment, I'm not doing anything wrong. And I'm coming from a good places because I want the team to do well. I want the players to do well. Because if the team does well, the reflection of the result will probably be more impactful on people to come and watch the sport. Because I've seen the sport in obscurity. I've seen where the days where people didn't recognize Indian team. And today we've come to a point where people appreciate the Indian women's team. So probably it stems from that place.
Apsi, you are a very big multitasker. You are also working with your event management company. So you are already in a profession which is so time challenging. And Fiki Flow is all about working women. We have entrepreneurs, professionals here. Looking at that, how so much multitasking can happen?
Actually, first of all, Wedding Factory is actually solely managed by my sister. It was something that she wanted to get into. I just became the investor. But having said that, I've enjoyed, as I said, I do identify being the jack of all trades and master of none. I think I've been doing that since my childhood. I've liked to, I don't know why though, but maybe in my head I feel life is too short. I need to do as much as I can. And because I fear the day, there shouldn't be a day where I feel the regret of not doing something that came into my mind. So I don't know, that's why maybe I package too much sometimes in a day or in a year for myself. But I do have this thing of making the most of my life for the few years I have here. So hence that Wedding Factory decision, but I'm mostly a silent partner in that. My sister is the one who takes the center stage there. I do own the badminton team, where I'm more active because of my passion towards sports and the wonderful results India has shown lately in badminton. Also, going ahead with the production house was a decision that came out of my experience of being an actor for a decade, because I realized there are certain things I cannot do or are beyond my domain as an actor. And if I try to get into those fields while I'm acting in a film, I might be trespassing. So I decided to become a producer so I can change a few things or do the things the way I feel is right, when, where I'll not be called a trespasser. So I'm the producer who is allowed to take those shots and calls instead of being an actor who's called over pokey or over nosy in a lot of other things.
Correct. Mithali, in your sport, today the girls who are pursuing cricket have a lot of mentors to look up to. They have a Mithali Raj, they have a Jhulan. But when you started out, almost you had literally no mentors to look up to. So how did you navigate your path? Your father pushed you, you got into it, but we all need mentoring at times. We all need that one person whom we could call and ask, should I do this?
And I think the initial phases, we mentored our own selves from the bad experiences you learn, and I've been inspired by the teammates around. Sometimes my dance teacher, she is a very confident lady. Back then, I remember she would come to the class driving a big car. In the 90s, a woman driving a car was uncommon, and to see her with so much of confidence, and as a young girl, I used to look up to her. Some of my seniors in the side, because when I made my debut or for the country or for the state, I was the baby of the team. So all of them would look up to me, they would say, yes, she's a small kid, bachcha hai. So they would teach me everything, because as I left home when I was 10-year-old. So I don't know how to fold clothes or iron clothes. I didn't know anything. So it was all my seniors who've taught me on tour. My mother, each time I would come back from a camp, from a tournament, she would see a different daughter. Growing up, probably she's not seen her daughter grow at home. Every tour, there would be different Mithali for her. So for me, I didn't have mentors, but I did have a lot of people who supported me at different stages in my career. Sometimes there's a school friend during school days. She was there writing my homework. It would be up to date because she was the one who would write in her own handwriting. My mother, because I remember giving my exams for the 12th, for the 11th standard, and in September when I gave my 12th boards, she was there, teaching me the subjects. And in a day I would give 2 exams, and she was there prepping me up for the second one. So she's played her part. But when I'm on the field or when I'm on tour, if I have to take some tough decisions and I find like I'm a little confused, I would reach out to my father, and he would give me his advice. So for me, for a long time, my father has been a mentor because in a sense he couldn't be a friend, but he was my coach, he was my mentor, and he would understand me, as a cricketer more than a daughter. So that probably helped me to have him as a solid backup when I needed a mentor.
Lovely. Tapsi, you like making very informed choices. Is that something you've always done? Or as you said that the films which nobody else would do would come to me because of my strong positioning of words and character.
Not just that, I feel. I think it's a snowball effect of the kind of work you do. It just snowballs into more of such work. When I did Baby and Pink in Hindi, when I did Baby especially, I just had a 7 minutes role in the film. And that was one role I went behind. I went and auditioned, and I was like, no, even though I'm one film old, which is totally different from this film, I want to do this 7 minutes role because I know it has got that in it that it can get me noticed at a different level. And when I did Pink as well, it was also touted as to be only Bachchan sir's film, without knowing what it is actually going to address. So these decisions were very, not a very thought out in terms of I had a plan in mind, but these roles, what I was doing in the film spoke to me. I was interested to see a girl pulling off an action sequence all by herself, where hero is not coming to protect her or save her from the antagonist. I wanted to see that on screen, and hence I went behind that role of that one small role in Baby. I wanted this, being from Delhi, I wanted to address this topic of consent in women, because we've shown the story of Delhi and what girls all over India go through, but from the point of view of a Delhi girl. And I wanted to be the voice for that because I wanted to see that on big screen in mainstream cinema. So hence, I took those decisions because they spoke to me as an audience. So they are not those very conscious decision in terms of a career planned move. It was a decision, an audience decision actually, where an audience, or say someone who, today's audience, to the kind of audience, I call myself that audience who would want to see the society changing as much on screen as around me. So I would want to see these kind of roles and films and stories on screen, and hence I decided to do those films.
In addition to the films, you are otherwise also quite an activist. You publicly supported the farmers' protest, attended a protest in support of the students of JNU who were brutally attacked on campus in 2020, lent your voice to a poem on stranded migrant workers during the lockdown. In your industry, where silence is the accepted norm, do you ever get scared that speaking up might land you in trouble?
Well, yeah, but I think I've not tried any other way than taking up the risks in my life, be it in my career or in my life otherwise. I genuinely believe that I can't live my whole life in fear. And I don't know what speaks to me in my head that when you have not done something wrong, that you don't really need to be scared of. I don't really have any hidden skeletons to be scared of. So that kind of gave me the courage to speak my mind. I can disagree with you, but I can still sit with you across the table and talk. I'm not one of those extremists who will, go around dismissing the other person's opinion. But that doesn't mean that I'll curb my opinion. So when what I feel is wrong, when I feel hurt about something, when I feel I have an informed opinion on something and I've studied the other sides and hence come to that conclusion, I didn't get scared of voicing it, because I did not find a reason to get scared of voicing what I feel is right.
A clear conscience, a clear heart, a clear mind is what gives you the wings.
Yeah, and probably a fear. There's no fear to fail.
True.
If I started my life from scratch, nobody really came and supported and like gave me that extra edge. So if you pull me down, I'll again start from scratch.
Superb, awesome. Mithali, you've been a part of women's cricket for over a decade now. Do you feel women's cricket in India is neglected by the media? Do you get attention from the opposite sex just like men in blue do?
Well, I think the media does play its role, and it is a very important role. But with the social media, things have really, magnified. And in a way, it has it both. It has two sides to it. It has done a lot of good for us, but it also sort of, sometimes is it's a disadvantage for women athletes. But again, it depends upon how we are going to work that out. With the televisation of matches, I think that the visibility has increased, and that in return has helped a lot of girls to take up the sport. Because I truly believe that the more you see in the current times, the better understanding of it, and it is retained in your memory. So the more matches are televised, and the more people watch women play on television, and it is covered by media, because media also covers what is there for them, and I think that definitely helps in the promotion of the sport, in the branding of the sport, even for the players. And as far as the attention from the opposite gender, I think that as girls, as women, that never stops. That doesn't require media, but because when you're playing with, when I've been playing with them for years, like, because we train, I've always trained with the boys. It has always helped me to improve my standard in terms of my cricket. So naturally, things sometimes can go that way. And who doesn't enjoy attention?
You've been very instrumental in making women's cricket a serious, viable profession for young girls in India. What's your advice to all those moms and kids who are chasing a career in sports? The chances of becoming a Mithali Raj is slim. We all understand the odds in any sport. Out of the 10 million children trying, one hits the bullseye. So then what is it that you would like to advise those mothers, those parents who are pursuing sports for their kids?
See, mothers will always be the first person the children get inspired, because we spend a lot of time around our mothers when you're growing up. And if we have mothers who sort of advise or tell their children not to try and fit into the box that the world would want you to, because there's no box that you should fit in. You have to be authentic best and be your original, and do not worry about what the world thinks. Figure out your own life the way you want to live. So it's just that Mithali didn't want you to fit into the box that the world wants her to. That's the thing that I followed, and that is what my mother encouraged, and that is what I would want the mothers to do, is encourage the children to sort of carve their own path.
Tapsi, you are the co-founder and chief innovation officer of the sustainable menstrual care brand Lyka. Again, a topic which till very recently was not much in the public domain. You're active and vocal about it. What inspired you to work with Lyka?
This has been one topic or a subject that while I was growing up, I was a teenager, I was very reluctant to talk about, even in the family. Like at max, you speak to your mother, right? And that too, like in a very awkward tone. It's every time you feel the pain during those days of the month, you are actually going to lock yourself in the room so nobody else gets to know, and you'll cook up hundreds of excuses except telling the truth about what's wrong with you. And obviously, so the problems that are going to come along with it, if you face any problems, you would want to just hide them and just like forget about them and deal with them yourself, and you have literally no knowledge of them anyway. So that something that is so natural, something that is celebrated in terms of, when you get pregnant, it's this phenomena that helps you get pregnant. So when you celebrate that, why be so shy and shun away this when it's the right time to talk about it and discuss if there's a problem? So that was one of the reasons why I again felt this needs to be brought into a regular topic of discussion, in the sense that if there is a problem, I'm not saying, okay, you're going to just enter every room and tell, oh, you're on periods. No, it's not like that. It's just that when you have some problem that you're facing with periods, you need to be vocal enough to someone in your family or some consultation of some sort without getting scared of, oh, it's a taboo, I can't talk about it. So and that whole wrapping it in black polythene bag is what I could never wrap my head around. I remember my mom bringing these black packets and shoving it in between. Out of 4 people in the family, 3 are females. And she's bringing it and she's shoving it in between my clothes and hiding it somewhere. And I was not able to understand why am I doing this? Is this some smuggling I'm doing? So this was very, very awkward, always trying to hide it. Even though it's majority women in the house, and it's not like dad is not aware of this. So it's quite weird. So I felt like now, obviously at that time as a kid, you just follow whatever is the norm. It's only when you grow up, you realize that, oh, that was weird, let me do something about it. So that was one reason. And the other major reason was the hygiene part of it. So there are a lot of things which are associated with it which are not being talked about. Like, for example, as simple thing as rashes. I was undergoing that problem and I had nobody to talk about, and I was thinking, okay, this is how it happens. This is how it is. Everyone goes through it. Only until I realized that's because of the quality of the sanitary napkin that you're using. And once the skin gets spoiled over years, it is never going to come back. It's just going to be spoiled. So I thought, when I got a chance, when I got introduced to this product, I spoke to the founders, because that product really was good when I used it. I spoke to the founders. I said, I want to lend my voice to this, do whatever I can to make sure people are aware of using a better product. People are aware of the fact that they can speak to someone, provide them medium to speak to a specialist, and not get scared of or hesitant of it. So I wanted to use, when God gives you power and some kind of responsibility also comes along with it. So when I got this so much of love from the audience, when I never really planned to become an actor, I thought, now you are at a position you can use that power to do something as a payback to the same audience that gave you so much of love. So that's one initiative of that sort. I had it in my mind for a long time to be associated with, and Laika kind of just came at the right time as the right product that I wanted to be associated with.
Now comes the film that you both are working on, her journey in your depiction, Shabash Mittu. It's coming up for release this week. How did you prepare for a role so demanding, so challenging? I've seen those bits where you've really worked hard to look and be a cricketer. And how did you feel when somebody said, oh, we are going to take your entire life out on the screen for the world to see? How challenging was that for you, emotionally and physically for you, Taapsee?
How was your experience?
Well, I think it sounded a little weird when the Viacom people approached and told me that they want to do a movie on my journey. Clearly, nobody, even thinks that, one day somebody would want to do a movie on their journey. So initially, I thought it's a prank. It took me a couple of days to sort of digest that they were actually serious. And there was also a bit of concern of in a long career span, there are a lot of things that one would want to share and one which they probably are not too keen to share. But I felt, from my optics, it is the best way that I can show people um, the changes that has happened in women's cricket over the years. I have also been one of those fortunate cricketers who got to see pre BCCI days and post BCCI days the change, and also a way of telling people the challenges that a women cricketer has faced before and what it took out of them to keep the sport alive, and to see today the current generation enjoying the resources and facilities. It has not come easily. There have been a lot of obstacles for many ex-cricketers, but based on their hard decisions and sacrifices, that today the sport is where it is, and I'm sure it will go, much higher. And I also felt that films are something which reaches out to the masses, and women cricketers should be celebrated, and it's a good medium to sort of tell people how the journey has been.
My challenge, obviously it began with cricket first. Obviously, I got excited like any other actor would at the prospect of playing someone who's the living legend of the game, who I call the first lady for women's cricket, because that's the first lady's name that comes to my mind when I think about women's cricket in India. And I myself feel, in spite of being such a big sports lover, I was oblivious of her existence and the team's existence till the time I read her statement in the papers, which said, "Why do you always ask a female cricketer about who's your favorite male cricketer? Why don't you ask a male cricketer about it?" So that kind of got me to notice her and hence the team. And I felt so guilty about not knowing about them before. And I think probably from that day I would have manifested it in a way that it comes to me. Not that I had played cricket before. I didn't even lift a bat before in my life. One of those rare sports probably I missed playing while I was growing up, because all the boys wanted me to do was just go field and not bat or bowl. So I never got to, and after a few days of fielding, I just gave up. I said, nobody's letting me bat. I don't want to play this game. So I got into the other sports. So, but yeah, not a single day would have passed on the training, during the training time. I wouldn't have regretted not playing cricket in my younger days. I was like, kash khel leti ek baar, to I wouldn't have been stressing out every day on pitch about how to get this right. But then the stakes were very high. I knew what I got into. I knew what I signed up for. When you've signed up for something which you have to portray someone who's the best, you have to get your A game. There is no shortcut to it. So I think I had to channelize my love towards sports. I had to channelize my admiration towards her and what she stood for, and my you can say passion or my aspiration to see women's cricket team at par with the men's cricket team, if not less or more, to push me to do my best. And I tried to hit as many balls I could with that bat throughout. Like, we had a 10-day non-stop cricket. When we were shooting for cricket, we shot the drama portions first. But those were not in any way less challenging, because I had to portray someone who speaks very less. And I talk a lot. As you can see rightfully here. I talk a lot, she talks very little, she expresses very less, I'm very dramatic. So it was not just a cricketing challenge, it was an acting challenge thrown at me to express least and convey more. And 20 years of her life to be expressed through these narrow range of emotions that I can portray on screen. Yeah, I mean, I've been tested in all possible departments all together in this field, in this film. So that's why the stakes are so high for me right now. I only hope people love this film, because the amount of hard work that has gone in, not just from me, but the entire crew, to make a non-cricketer like me look like Mithali Raj. I mean, it's no easy feat. So I just hope people see that, that hard work and effort that's gone in it.
And as you said, every woman by default is a multitasker and has to learn the multiple games of life. So could we have one message from Mithali and from Tapsi for all the Ficky Flow ladies out here waiting for you people to tell us?
There is no advice. I just want all of you to go and watch the movie. And yeah, because in a way it's a celebration of women athlete, I would say. And the movie also sort of, the essence of the movie, I personally feel, is that not everything is result oriented. Sometimes when you fight the change and change people's mindset, that in itself is a success, and that should also be celebrated. So that is what I personally feel is the essence of the movie. But for all the hard work, like Tapsi said, she's batted all through the movie, and you should all watch it for the hard work that she's done. She's got few hits while training, and but yeah, for the hard work that she's put in, for all those people who've made the sport where it is today, all those women who've played sometimes significant role and sometimes not so significant, yet a smaller role in some way in the journey of women's cricket. It's a movie on them, and then the changes that has happened. So yes, I would want all of you to go watch it.
Tapsi, what would be your message for all the Flow women
I
here?
think all of you sitting here probably are more experienced and know much more than I do about life and challenges. So there's no significant advice or message of any sort, just that, yeah, we might not, I mean, I keep saying this, we might not see equality in our lifetime. I say that about my field. Now, might not see equality during my lifetime, but if I give up, then probably the next generation will also not be able to see it. So I think that's what keeps me going, and whatever you guys are doing for encouraging all women, or all the women entrepreneurs, or whichever field they want to choose, to just not be scared of it. Congratulations and kudos to all of you for doing that, for being a part of this big change that hopefully we'll see soon in our future generations, I hope. And yeah, please watch the film. I mean, all I can say is you'll have a smile on your face and tears in your eyes by the end of it. Hopefully, if I've acted fine. And probably all of you will end up sending your girl child for some or the other kind of sport after this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this wonderful session, and good luck to both of you. I'm sure that the movie is going to really, really do well. Well, we'll quickly take 2-3 questions from the audience. Yeah, please. Backbenchers, yes. Quickly, can we do, because we are short of time, please? Can we only take 2? 2, yeah.
Hi Tapsi, this is a question for you.
My son is an aspiring actor. He just finished his graduation from Tisch, New York, and he's trying his luck in Hollywood. So what is that one piece of advice you would like to give him and to me as an actor?
Do you just hold on? Just hang in there. It's going to be very tough, and you're going to feel very helpless, because there'll be times that you would feel that you want to really help him out and do something for him. But trust me, you cannot do anything than just be a good listening partner for your son. Someone who he can just vent out in front of. Let him fight that battle. Let him go through that struggle, because it's only going to make him stronger and better for what he's going to face eventually when he makes it through. As you rightly said, trying his luck. So remember, the luck is sometimes actually more pivotal in this industry. I am very honest about the fact there might be so many other talented actors, actresses out there, more than me, who probably just couldn't get the kind of opportunities I did and hence couldn't make it. but that doesn't make them any less worth it. So remember, the luck plays an important role. I might be saying something different from a lot of other aspiring actors, actresses, or who say that, oh, keep trying and don't give up and all of that. I gave myself a very finite, definitive time, because I knew this time is of extreme importance. If I keep like spending my years in something that is not working out for me, the time probably will never come back to try something else. So give yourself a finite time to see if it's really working out, you're able to make it through or no. But if not, you should always be ready at the back of your mind about a plan B. Some people diss the aspect of plan B, but I genuinely believe everybody can't be a Shah Rukh Khan or an Amitabh Bachchan, right? So I genuinely believe, give it all. Give it your best, be like the hustler, but for a finite time, and then think of a plan B.
Well, because of paucity of time, we'll just take the last question for the day.
This is for Taapsee. Hi, Taapsee. You're a mind-blowing girl.
Thank you.
And I loved you in Pink.
Thank you.
So that was such a, I should not say a dangerous role, but with so much grit and with so much, I think, strength that you got to do that role. So how was it working with Amitabh Bachchan? And I believe you had some butterflies with Salman Khan.
Salman Khan.
In Judwa, during Judwa time. This both.
See, because Mr. Bachchan, it's a different kind of a feeling with him, because I have not grown up on his films, right? I'm not from that generation. So didn't watch as many films of his while growing up. So it was just, the whole aura that he carries, that it was, that I had to switch off that button in my head that I'm working with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And then he's a tremendously good actor, co-actor actually, because I can say that the energy that he exuberates when you act with him, I can just look into his eyes and perform and do a better performance. There are a lot of times your co-actors help you perform better. He's one of those co-actors who helped me up my game because of just his energy and presence in the same frame. With Salman Khan, so with people like Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan, I've grown up watching their films. So for me, they are, the introduction to Hindi film industry. So when you work or see them in real, there are a little bit of like butterflies and all. You feel like, oh, you've seen them dance on their songs, or you've tried to imitate their dialogues and all of that. So yeah, that's the reason behind those butterflies.
Requesting Padma Somi Reddy and Shilpa Raju to take the autograph sheets, please. I'd request Senior Vice Chair Ms. Ritu Shah to deliver her vote of thanks, followed by a quick picture. Please come to the dais quickly.
A very happy afternoon to one and all. What an auspicious day of Guru Purnima. Jai Gurudev. The best way to be successful is to be fearless, said Mithali Raj. I don't regret a single decision of mine. Even if I had made mistakes, they helped me evolve, said Taapsee Pannu. On these two very inspirational quotes, I, Ritu Shah, on behalf of Wikiflow Hyderabad, take this opportunity to thank our very two powerful achievers, Mithali Raj and Taapsee Pannu. Thank you so much for gracing Flow Hyderabad chapter with your inspirational presence. It's an honor to have both of you with us today. Heartfelt gratitude to our sponsors, Platinum sponsor Argentum Arts the Silversmith, Diamond sponsor Fortune Rice Bran Oil, Hospitality partner Deepak, Creative partner RBC. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you, Press and Media, for the unstinted support always. Thank you, our pillars, our past chairpersons, for always guiding the chapter in the right direction. Our members' presence is a motivation for the team to serve the best always. Thank you, all the members present here today. A big shout out to the committees of 2022-23 for their time and effort. Either I choose to behave to live the life of someone else, or I choose to be myself and live the life the way I want it to be. And friends, if you have the power to make someone happy and inspire them, then do it. The world needs more of that. Thank you and Jai Hind.